It's an interesting thought that I just thought that you should probably think about. And that is how much is the new information technology, things that are related to, social media, for example, or different various platforms, how much is that playing in your life? How important is that for you? And I think that this is an interesting question because it sort of gets at sort of two things. First one is once you start thinking about it, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, it's actually a pretty significant part of my life, right? Like I book on Uber or, I go on Airbnb or, whatever. I go on various different social media websites and I look at what's going on and I get an update. That there is a significant portion of our life that is transforming, that is becoming, it's what it is. If you take a step back, it's just the democratization of a lot of these technologies, or a lot of these just general platforms that have been around for a long time, right? Like hotel stays, for example, used to be centralized with a couple of industry players. Now it's more centralized on a specific platform. However, it's been decentralized in other ways. You can stay at somebody's house or something along those lines relatively easy now that you couldn't do before. So it's very interesting to think about that. The other thing that I want you to think about is it still is not that big of a deal. And there is a tremendous amount of hype and over talking in life. It's still not necessarily, it's a big part of your life, but it's not your whole life, and your life is still really important um, outside of those social areas, right? So yes, I do know that you're probably talking to a podcast and you're probably listening to it on your cell phone and all those kind of, or you're listening to a podcast. Um, I recognize the irony in that, but think about your day-to-day life and what you're actually doing on a regular basis. You're just kind of hanging out and doing your thing. Um, that has not changed very much at all for, you know, millennial, where you're just kind of doing the same sort of patterns and those kind of things. It is relatively consistent. There might be differences in hours and things like that, but it's pretty consistent, right? Like human beings, for the most part, have worked to some degree, right? Like how that actually works, because you need to sustain yourself. Um, you know, 500 years ago, it would have been, maybe it was planting some seeds and working out in a small little garden or something like that as a peasant. Um, or, even you go back thousands and thousands of years ago, where hunter gatherer, and you'd spend, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours a day doing that, and then 4 or 5 hours a day prepping and doing, family life and all that kind of stuff. And then you'd maybe have an hour of chilling out, or 2 hours of chilling out, sitting by the fire and telling stories. And storytelling is very important, by the way. Um, just shooting the shit, basically. And this part of human nature is not changed, and I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. What has changed is you can maybe connect to different tribal members, much more easier. It would have been years and years ago, would have been hard to connect to some of these tribal members, and so it seemed a little bit scarier to get to know some of these folks. And um, this is definitely, that component of it has definitely changed. And the, viral nature of some of the information that gets passed on, that's definitely a heck of a lot more faster than it would have been. It would have took a millennial for some of this information to pass from tribe to tribe. But now it goes very quickly, right? It would go within a matter of hours to pass through a huge number of people, some of this information. So there's definitely some changes. And I just want you to reflect on those two things. The first thing is like, oh gosh, it is a significant part of my life. But then the other thing is like, oh gosh, my life's pretty all right. And regardless if I have access to those different technologies or not, I'm probably still going to get along, probably still going to live a decent life and still be happy. Um, for me, if I got rid of the cell phone that I have right now that I'm talking into, yeah, there's some like, some things that are a little annoying that I got to do, like meeting up with different people and, the maps feature and stuff like that. Without those kind of things would be definitely annoying because I would definitely get lost. But would my life be substantially that worse off? And no, not really. So I think you need to take a step back, and you know what? Just kind of treat it like it is. It's not that big of a deal. If you have it, you have it. You have like this kind of technology. If you don't, you don't, and you're totally good. I think having that sort of mindset sort of desensationalizes a lot of this stuff because we either got this sort of really negative view on it that the world is going to, you know, social media is going to take over the world and all that kind of stuff and turn us into a bunch of pumpkins. Or you get a really positive view where, social media is the most amazing thing in the world. Um, both of those are not necessarily true, and both of them are kind of true. And we just have to be more chill about it, realize what it is. So try that on for size. All right, take care and have a wonderful day. Bye.